Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to Quilt Along number 25 on the Free Motion Quilting Project. This week we're going to learn one more design, and it is called Cucumber Vine. And this design is basically kind of like a spiral version of tree roots. And I really hope that you enjoy learning it today on the Free Motion Quilting Project. To get started with this design, all you're going to do is stitch a spiral design, a spiral shape, then travel stitch your way back, and then you're going to branch off with a wiggly line and end with a spiral again. And in this situation, I'm repeating a pattern where the spirals always curve to the inside. So I'm always curving them to the inside of the row that I'm stitching within. And that's something that maybe you probably wouldn't think about, but really when you stitch spirals, sometimes one direction or one angle or stitching it clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way, is going to feel more natural for you. And so that's something to kind of pay attention to as you stitch it. So let's hear a little bit more of this design stitched in many different ways. As you quilt through different rows of this design and play with stitching this repetitively, really just the biggest thing to keep in mind is staying right on top of your line of stitching as you travel your way back out of the spiral. And it's a lot of fun to play with spirals that are really complex, like the ones that I'm stitching through right now, that is quite large and goes into many rings of the spiral. Or, of course, keeping it kind of simple and stitching a lot of simplistic spirals. Really, it's a nice balance of doing kind of both within the design. Stitch some pretty bigger spirals and work your way in with several rings to get into the center. And then also change it up a bit and stitch some smaller spirals that have a much more simple spiral shape. And that's going to keep the design moving and flowing in a very random arrangement. At this point, I'm stitching Cucumber Vine totally randomly, and that means that I can branch out with the initial shape of the cucumber vine of the spirals and branch them out and interlock them and work them around in a row, and then interlock rows together in order to form a complete pattern, a filler design over the surface of the quilt. So really there's no wrong way of stitching this. Just play and have fun, and just make sure to keep it clean. Keep your travel stitching, like right there I stitched off. It's not a big deal, but try and minimize those areas where you stitch off the line, because that is fairly noticeable whenever you finish the design. So we're going to finish up listening to the rest of this completely free form and random cucumber vine being stitched in this row. Have some fun stitching it out in your own quilt, and make sure to listen to your machine for the speed that you're going in at any particular time. Whenever you're travel stitching, you want to make sure to be stitching nice and slowly in those areas. So here we go. that's it for this video. I really hope you'll get on your sewing machine and give Cucumber Vine a try. It's a little bit more time consuming and complex because you're stitching these spirals and of course travel stitching back along pretty much the whole length of them. So take your time, keep your hands closer to the needle, and pay attention to what you're doing, and that will set you right. Of course, link up your blog post and share any progress you've had with the last 2 designs we've learned. In the last 2 weeks we've learned bare branches and tree roots, so definitely give all 3 designs a try and ask any questions that you have about stitching these designs in free motion. Until next time, let's go quilt! If you're struggling to free motion quilt easily on your home sewing machine, give the Ultimate Quilting Kit a try. This kit comes with the Supreme Slider, Machineker's free motion quilting gloves, and Little Genie magic bobbin washers. These 3 tools can be found together at daystyledesigns.com.